you are the you belie this this saying.
I think we all do, don't we?
I think so. Yeah. Well, how would is there a Russian equivalent to this, Konstantin?
I don't know. Old dog, new tricks. I don't know.
Okay.
Черного кобеля не отмоешь до бела. Do you hear this saying?
Yeah, черная еще раз?
Черного кобеля. Кобель — это собака мужского рода.
Да, ясно.
Черного кобеля не отмоешь до бела.
You can't
Before
teach
he became white.
You can't teach a black dog to become white.
You can't scrub out. You can't wash out a black.
Yeah, scrub out. Clean out.
I think so.
That's close.
So. That's good. Anyway.
Yeah, I like that.
Anyway, it's wrong about you guys. It's wrong about all of us.
It's wrong about all of us.
I've been an old dog for a long time.
I think we can all claim to be spring chickens.
We can. Spring chickens. Marvelous. Marvelous.
And, actually, what does mean this saying?
The saying means that, you know, like someone my age, you know, they say, well, you will never learn to use an iPhone, or you will never learn to
maybe you know Russian counterpart of this saying.
Oh, I think you just gave us
I think
one.
you just said it. Yeah, I think so.
There is the possibility of change.
Right.
Do you believe in change as a possibility or not? That, I think, is the question at the heart of both of those sayings. And I am all about change. And it makes me happy to think about what I do and if I want to continue doing the same thing or if I want to do something different. And I am glad to have the freedom to make those choices. So, especially now that I'm officially retired from university teaching as such, I only do those things that I enjoy doing. And I've taken up a few new things. I do yoga now, and I do a lot of walking. Both of those are new things. And I see that we've been joined by Irena.
Hi.
Hello, Irena.
Hello.
Irena, good morning.
Hi.
Привет.
So, this is our last class for the semester, and we have all been very caught up in watching the weather. Here we go, that American obsession with weather. And here's one of the reasons why. You're looking at a picture of the object of continuous news coverage. What is that? What's in the picture?
Tornado. I don't know how it sounds in English. In Russian, it sounds as tornado.
Tornado.
Tornado, maybe. Tornado.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tornado, yeah.
Tornado.
Exactly. And this was a major tornado that hit in Oklahoma yesterday, near the capital city, in a suburb. And let's see if I can
how sound this name? Moor? Moor?
More.
More.
And this was really quite devastating. It's
Quite?
sometimes devastating.
I don't know this word.
Devastating. Very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Very devastating and destructive. I've put up another picture that begins 1305, and you can see a housing development, and in the middle you'll see that it's all rubble.
Rebel?
Rubble. Nothing left but small pieces.
Rubble. What does mean rubble? A small piece?
Well, rubble.
Small pieces. And if you look carefully at this picture, you will see at the top of the picture there are houses, there are two rows of houses that are relatively undamaged. And then you'll see a bunch of streets where there's nothing left of the houses.
Wow.
There are no one tree there.
No trees, no building left standing. And you can see the roads, although there are places where the roads are filled with rubble, with debris.
Debris?
Pieces, it's another word like rubble. It's I almost want to say trash. There's nothing left of value. And let's see. There is a community of, let's see, 60,000 people, is that right? And it's a large suburb of Oklahoma City. Very dense population. And there's not much left now. And we have been listening. This is one of those things that happens in this country. I don't know if it happens in Russia or not. This storm is the object of continuous TV news coverage.
TV news
coverage. That there is, if you turn on your television set right now, there will be a channel, at least one, maybe several, that are broadcasting news about this storm. They'll have reporters there. There will be meteorologists analyzing the weather. There will be police and fire officials discussing the rescue efforts. There will be political people, including the president probably, talking about relief efforts. But this event will capture the imagination and grab the attention of the entire country.
So regular television programs last night, many of them were preempted.
Preempted, it is stopped?
Yes. regular programming did not take place because of the disaster coverage. And this is something that didn't used to happen. But I guess the first time I remember having the news preempted was the assassination of President Kennedy.
That's true.
And even in September of
September 11.
September 11, they didn't preempt.
Oh, yes, they did.
Oh, yeah.
And the new thing about September 11th, 2001 was covered continuously online. I remember being at work that morning, and we were getting streaming news online. I saw the second airplane hit the tower live.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it. I thought it must be fiction, a drama show.
I'm sorry, and what about this tornado? Where from it came? Why only Oklahoma City was suffered? Not the Oklahoma City is in the center of the state.
It's actually pretty far north.
Sorry?
I think it's to the north.
It is why Oklahoma City? Kostya, there's Konstantin and Irena. That part of the country, Oklahoma and North Texas, are located in what is called Tornado Alley. Tornado Alley. Alea. And Tornado Alley. And this means that the climatic conditions and the geographic conditions and the prevailing air currents and humidity, all of these things combine quite frequently to produce very, very severe storms that develop into tornadoes. And these tornadoes have winds of 200 miles an hour. 200 miles an hour. And how many kilometers an hour is that? And they're extremely destructive. Extremely destructive. And there's no protection from them. The only way to avoid being injured or damaged is to hide in an underground shelter. And many homes here have shelters that are below ground. This particular. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, how often the tornado come to this area?
Well, almost every year, but in this particular area, there was also, and not all tornadoes are very, very dangerous. Some never touch ground, but when they touch ground, it is when they create the damage. this particular city, Moore, Oklahoma, was also hit by a similarly destructive tornado in 1999. This very same city, and but there are tornadoes almost every summer in this part of the country.
Well, then another question: if everyone know about such danger, so why people still live there?
Oh, that's the question that's the question I asked Professor Marston this morning when we started, and I said if I were in charge, I would build a big fence around this area and not allow people to live there. But,
yeah.
But Professor Marston, Professor Smith, why do people still live there?
Well, if you look at the tab called Weather Threat for Today, you will see that Austin, where Professor Lero is, has an elevated risk, and the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I am has a very high risk of tornadoes. So we are all thinking, where will we park our cars? Where will we be? When is it coming? And they think it's going to arrive around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we know where we will be and where the cars will be, and will everybody be inside and safe. So we manage.
Mm.
But people, why do people live there? Well, Oklahoma City is the capital of the state, and it's a center of commerce and center of government, and that part of Oklahoma is also rich farm country. It's part of the American breadbasket. That part of Oklahoma is also rich in oil resources, so there are incentives for people to live there.
Mm.
And over the years, you know, as cities have developed and as populations grew, people would live there and build homes and raise families, thinking that they would take their chances with the weather, that it was a risk, that other parts of their life were so rich and so positive that it offset the dangers of the tornadoes.
Mm.
Professor Smith experienced a near miss. Was that last year, Pete?
Yes, a year ago, April, we had a tornado touch down about 500 meters from my house.
Whoa.
And I was at home, but all the sirens were going off, and I was supposed to go out for a trip, and my wife called and said, don't go out. And it literally moved right through Arlington, and it hurt a building about 500 miles from us. It drops down from the sky, it travels along the ground, as Professor Lero said, and then picks back up into the sky again.
Wow.
Did they say 500 meters?
And I didn't hear it. There was debris flying everywhere, roof tiles from people's houses, insulation from the buildings that were destroyed. So we had a lot of garbage to pick up in our yard, a lot of debris.
Constantine, we can only see the space around you. We can't see your face now. The wall, I think, is what we're looking at. So can you adjust your camera? And now see your shirt. There. You were ephemeral Now it's gone black.
Oh.
So one of the things, there you go. One of the things about tornadoes is they're capricious. As Professor Smith experienced, there was a tornado which came 500 meters from his house and took the roof off of the building, which was located 500 meters away, but his house was untouched. So you never know. Most people will take a risk. And so, but I wanted to say something about continuous news coverage. Last night, everyone was focused on the rescue effort, because when this tornado hit, it hit 2 elementary schools. And the small children in one school were all mostly accounted for, and school they were buried very deep in the rubble, and it wasn't clear whether or not they were going to be able to get them out, and if they survived. And I have not had an update this morning. So the rescue efforts have been frantic, but they had to be able to get heavy moving equipment to lift the rubble off so that they could get to where the school was. So, so everyone across the country will be sharing this experience about this disaster, and this is whenever there is a major disaster. The last one was the Boston Marathon bombing, and regular programming on television was preempted for maybe 2 days until they caught the bombers. And so everyone who was at all connected with the police or the first responders would be interviewed. First responders, those are going to be police and firefighters. Who attempt to rescue people in a tragedy like this.
I have gone ahead and posted a map of the Arlington tornado from last year under the tab that says impacted area.
Oh, I see it.
Oh.
Impacted was
the gray area. This is the tornado that was right by my house last year. The gray area was where the tornado was on the ground, and my house is right where the tip of the arrow is.
Wow.
So literally 2 blocks, 3 blocks down the way is where the first damage started to occur.
Wow.
That was a near miss.
That was very close.
And were there streets blocked?
Yes, I left on my trip about an hour afterwards, and I could drive around, but there were some very badly hit neighborhoods, and the police had closed them off. most of them had lost their roofs. The roofs came off of their houses, so they needed to secure the neighborhoods.
Wow.
So if you see the shield on that map with a big 20 in it, that is another major highway, an east-west highway.
Yeah.
It's part of the interstate highway system. And it goes all the way from east to west. And you can tell by the numbers which direction the roads go in. So there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. When I get up to 80, that's the northernmost one. That's in Oregon. So 10 is in Texas. 20 and 30 are also in Texas. And 40 is north of Texas, so it goes through Oklahoma, and so on. And those are east-west roads, and the ones that end in 5 now I-20 goes through Arlington, and 30 goes through Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know, we have the Russians to thank for this system. You know.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, military transport.
Military transport. This system was approved by President Eisenhower in the early 50s as part of the National Defense Transportation Act. It was the Cold War was just beginning, and there was no way in the United States to move troops around quickly, and we were afraid of the threat posed by the Soviet Union. So among other things, this wonderful system of highways was constructed so that we could move military troops around. So on behalf of all of us who travel the interstate system, Konstantin and Irina, Большое спасибо.
Now you have a network of federal highways in Russia, is that right, Irina?
The federal what again?
Federal highways.
I don't know.
You've been in Israel and not driving on the highways, right?
I don't know.
What does mean highway? It's a road that is on the is under the earth, or it's only?
No, it's ground level. So it'd be chaussee or gaive.
It's a great road.
Right. So
A
or
big road.
magistral. Right. So very large road for traveling between regions, between the cities.
Do we have such in Russia actually? Do you know, Konstantin?
No, of course we have, but
Yes?
we have it only in Centrum, only in Moscow and Leningrad. In St. Petersburg.
Ah,
But
so that's why I don't know.
No. In 2010, maybe, I don't remember exactly, Putin opened the road between Khabarovsk and I don't know, Khabarovsk and Chita, and today we can drive through all country from Moscow to Vladivostok with the car. It isn't. I think it isn't counterpart of American highway, but it is something in comparison with the past.
I'm going to post a map here right now. There's a quick map of some of the major Russian highways.
Oh my God.
Irena, help me, I can't get this phrase.
Открой это, господи, картинку Russian highways.
Okay, where is this picture?
Under the tab on the whiteboard, Russian highways.
I don't know where to find it.
Там стрелочка такая вниз, на нее нажми, и там будет картинка эта Russian highways. Там, где все.
White box, последняя.
Да.
Последняя.
То есть,
The picture actually not so clear.
It's our highways, and where is Omsk on this picture?
We can't see Omsk, it's too small. We just can see Moscow, of course.
About 1 million people.
For Omsk, yeah.
Irena, I would like to ask you, what about your metro? Have you a metro?
No, we haven't. We started, actually our premier, Polizhaev, he started to make the metro. I actually don't remember before how many years. I think I still was in Russia when I was 16 years old, and he started this project. And now I came back from Israel, but it's still don't finished. And we even haven't the one metro station.
One metro station?
We don't have even
you
that.
don't have.
Yeah.
You need at least two.
You need two, right?
Yes. No, they talked that they wanted to open the one metroway and the two stations, but it's both of them in the center, so it's actually not so help.
Right. Yeah, that would be an interesting system with interesting metro system with one station.
Yeah. So the people just coming down just to watch how it looks, the new one.
That's a museum, not a.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Maze.
Maze.
Now, what do you call those? Did Professor Marston put that up?
Yes. I looked up interstate highways, and this was one of the images that came up. This is what we would call an interchange. And it's where various roads come together. It's not otherwise identified, so I can't tell you for sure where it is. But you will see lots of cars trying to connect. This could easily be in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then I have one more picture.
In Dallas,
that I want to.
We would call that a mixmaster.
Yes, and sometimes they're called spaghetti bowls.
A mixmaster was a brand of electric mixer, and so we call that the mixmaster.
Let's see. Here's a picture showing the road in use, and this is a it looks like a 8-lane highway, and it's going to be a divided highway. And you can see that in the upper left-hand corner that there is an on-ramp. There's a little space there. That's where cars get onto it. It's what we would call controlled access. So you can't just pick it up anywhere. You have to go to a designated opening. And this would be rush hour traffic. I think that's safe to
Now,
say.
Moscow is very famous for its traffic, right, Konstantin?
Of course, it's our great problem.
This makes you feel right at home, I bet.
Hmm?
This makes you feel right at home, I bet.
Traffic.
Traffic
Yeah.
like this is traffic like this is familiar to you.
Traffic like this is a
Familiar to you.
familiar. Maybe so, but our I don't know why, but it seemed to me that our roads is more narrow. We have more close traffic, and we have little distance between two cars.
Mm-hmm.
The lanes are a little narrower, I think, in Moscow.
Yes, and that's my experience driving in Europe. The lanes are narrower.
Now, how wide are American lanes? I think, are they 12 feet? Is that my?
Yeah, I think it's like 12 or 14.
Uh-huh. And one of the reasons for that is that the European roads, the Russian roads, the Moscow roads are built in a developed area, and so they are constrained by buildings that have been in place for, in some cases, hundreds of years.
I just posted a picture of Moscow traffic under the tab. That's the last tab on the whiteboard.
Oh, good.
And in America, is it on contrary? I think that some roads lays on the development territory. No?
Less.
I think that
Most of the.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
I think that in 19th century there was not good roads in New York, for example, or in other cities, and I don't know. It's a common problem that the road lays on development territory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think you're right. Yeah, especially in developed areas. Yes. Now this road that we're looking at, this Moscow road, this seems to be a 6-lane road. It looks to be elevated. Is it?
It's our traffic jam or yours?
Yeah, yours.
Oh. It's familiar for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good Moscow jam, traffic jam.
Yeah.
And that's why the metro is so valuable.
Yes, of course.
And so while you're thinking about the awful traffic on your roads, you ought to know that most big cities in this country do not have a metro. They are not common.
Yeah, there's not really one in Dallas. There is a system of Električki, but not a metro.
And that's pretty new. That's only been built in the last 10 years or so.
How is sound Električki in Dallas?
Yes, so that's we would call those
Light rail.
light rail. Yes.
Like rail.
Light
Light.
rail.
A light rail.
And I have a question about the metro in the USA, the subway, right?
Subway,
Yes. Is it really so dirty how we can see in some movies, or it's just?
In New York primarily, although they are trying to clean up their image. But if you go to the Washington D.C. metro, it's spotless. It's just absolutely clean.
You could eat your dinner off the floor.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like your grandmother's dinner table.
The Washington metro is very, very beautiful. Actually, it's very attractive.
You know, I was thinking about that last week, and I think compared to the pictures that we saw of the Moscow metro, I don't know. I don't remember all of those glorious
Stations.
tiles and painting stations that were so fabulous.
No, that they don't have.
But it's very clean and it's elegant, but it is, the word I would use probably is modern,
Yeah.
which is different than modern. It's a style which is, suddenly all I'm getting is French words. Help me here.
Modern is kind of geometric, very geometric, very clean lines, minimalist.
Yes.
I've got a good picture here. Give me a second.
Particularly in the West, though, we are a culture of cars.
I just posted a tab called Metro Network. That's the Washington, D.C. Metro.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the stations are designed so you can't, as a person on the platform, you cannot reach the walls. You see how there's that curve? Let's see if I can get a tool up here to point.
Ways.
There, the way where the train comes, there's no way to get to the platform over here that's next to the wall. And the walls are curved so that
The walls are
curved. They're not straight. That they're designed to avoid graffiti.
Ah.
And so this is and all the kiosks in the middle give various kinds of information that we used to have on the outside walls. And in New York, it's still that way. So people in New York can get to these outside walls, and Washington, whose subway is much newer, profited for all the things that they did wrong in in New York, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a different experience living in a car culture, which I do, and which I've lived in almost all of my life, except for when I lived in Europe and New York. It's very hard to live without a car. There is a bus system, like where I live. There is a bus system, but it's not reliable. The schedule is limited.
Under the tab that's labeled Dallas, I've just put one of our Dallas light rail trains.
Dallas.
And that's the Mockingbird line, but I like it that it's right next to Sonny Bryan's Smokehouse. That's a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah. See, that's new since I left in 2003.
Yeah.
We didn't have those then.
Sorry, and how many carriages has this train?
Usually not too many, 2 or 3 or 4. They tend to be very limited.
And
And
how many?
cars, not carriages.
And what's this?
That looks like an advertisement for Paramount Pictures.
Yeah, that's
Paramount.
what I thought about.
Well, I think, and I'm not sure why it's there. Professor Smith, why do we have Paramount Pictures there in Dallas?
Where is that? Oh,
Up here.
I wonder if that's the Paramount building.
Oh,
Really?
That would be
Really?
a clue, wouldn't it?
I think that's a building. I don't go to downtown Dallas very much.
So why is there a Paramount building in Dallas?
I'm guessing it was a former headquarters or corporate headquarters that they probably abandoned some years ago. So we've got several major companies. We still keep the name of the building even though they left. And there's also the Paramount Theater. I wonder if that's it too.
Like the
Or
Sears
different.
Tower in Chicago.
And what you're seeing in this picture to the left of the train is the station. You can see the curved
Shelter, I guess.
shelter, yes.
Shelter, Козырек?
Yeah. Actually, Professor Lero, the Paramount building was closed and renovated, and now it's a community college building in downtown Dallas.
Well, there you go.
Thank you.
And one of the things that they have done in Dallas, and you can see in this picture, is a retro feature, and that is there's brick paving.
Yeah.
And most of the streets, this is expensive. It costs a lot to have brick paving, but it's to make the transit system more appealing.
I've just put up one more picture under the tab DART train, so Konstantin can see there are 4 carriages. And DART stands for Dallas Area Rapid Transit, so we call it the DART system.
And a dart, see, that's a little pun,
Right.
because a dart is like a strelka, something like that. So this gives you the sense that this is fast and you know,
Like Красная Стрела from Moscow to
like
Lenin.
Krasnaya Sela, exactly, same thing.
And how many people can carry in this train? Or I don't know.
I don't know. Americans don't like to be packed in, right? You know, in most European settings, you can put a lot of people into a carriage. Americans don't like to be crowded in many cases, so I'm guessing maybe
Nobody
30
likes
carriage.
to be crowded.
Nobody. But the first time on a Russian bus for most American students is always a big surprise for them.
Yes.
Unless they're from New York.
Unless they're from New York.
And that's because of the way people ride the metro at rush hour. And the subway, the New York subway is very crowded. I don't know if you've seen pictures of Japanese subways or not, but in Japan, they have people to pack you into the cars. They literally push you into the cars.
We heard about it.
We, I think as Americans, we wouldn't tolerate that. But that doesn't mean we don't push ourselves in. And that's very unpleasant.
You need in such pushman too. It's very, very hard to occupy our carriage.
How many
I think
people
in Russia
fit in
the
a
such
carriage?
pushmen will be killed by the people who's trying to get into the bus in the morning.
I think the Japanese have a very ordered society.
Yes, but it's Japanese, not Russian. Just once I saw the picture in the morning when I'm trying to get the marshrutka. So a lot of people come to this poor car and trying to get in. It was too much people, and the car starting to, how to say?
The doors are closing?
No, качаться.
The rock. Tip.
Rock.
Yeah.
Swing.
So I saw that another few pushes and the car will just fall down. So.
Irena, is it allowed to get more than is it
Then
allowed
30?
for the car to be overcovered?
Overcrowded.
Overcrowded, yes.
Is it allowed in Omsk?
In Moscow, it's forbidden. Forbid.
Forbidden. You're right. Forbidden.
Well, in Omsk it's also, but still we have some drivers who take. Yeah.
There are no another way.
I think because actually we don't have enough buses in our country and enough cars that to take all people who need to get to work in the morning or to the studies or somewhere else. So that's why.
Actually, our drivers take a few passengers too. They don't care of overcrowded cars. I mean marshrutka.
But now, I think before New Year, this New Year, they took a lot of people to the marshrutkas. It just was, I don't know, they're full of the people. Just open the door and people fall down. But after the New Year, they have the ban. The payment was higher for the ban.
The fine.
Yes. So now they don't want to take a lot of people, and maybe they will take just one or two but in the areas where you don't have the policemen, that no one will see.
Ah.
They already know where they will stand.
Uh-huh. So there's a system.
Yes.
There's a system.
Uh-huh.
Now I wanted to ask Konstantin, how many people fit in a carriage on the Moscow Metro? Oh, did we lose Konstantin?
I think yes.
The one with the steadiest connection.
So I'm trying to think of other American cities with a metro. Clearly New York, D.C. Does Los Angeles have one?
I don't know. Chicago has the elevated system,
Elevated, yeah.
and part of it is underground, but not much.
Seattle has mostly ground or elevated. Boston? Does Boston have one?
Yes, the Big Dig.
The Big Dig.
The Big Dig is a highway.
Oh.
A buried highway.
Oh, you're right.
The Big Dig. But I think no, there is. It's in Boston. It's called the T.
The T.
Metro is called the T.
Oh yes, I remember the Kingston Trail.
That's right.
T.
You can ride forever through streets
Streets
of
of
Boston.
Boston. He's the man who never returned.
Got a little Kingston trio in here today.
Yes. We do our
Charlie,
best.
right?
Charlie on
Yeah.
the MTA.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. But it's not called the MTA. After that song, I think they revamped it.
The T.
Well, Irena, while we get Konstantin back, we're trying to add some wrap-up questions for the semester in our assignment and on the blog. And we asked everybody to think about how their language and culture had developed over the semester. So do you want to share some thoughts in that area?
Well, actually, I said a few words in the blog.
You will have rehearsed, and you can say now what you said.
Well, actually, what I said in the blog that the first lesson I didn't like so much, actually, because it was kind of an unusual system that we didn't use it before. That this kind of studying English.
Mm-hmm.
And also it was kind of hard, and we had the first home task before the first lesson that we should to write something about role models, and I thought that oh my god, it's so difficult, and I think that it's, it's not my level of English, that it will be hard for me. So, but the second lesson I already loved more, when we just start to know each other better, and already to understand what we should to do, and what we should to write, and how to think, and start to prepare to the lesson. So it starts to be more interesting also, and useful too, because we really learned how to talk in not in Russian English, in American English. That's important, I think.
Very good point, yeah.
Yes. So, as for me, I enjoyed this course very much, and I think it was useful too in some moments of the speech and the way of the speech, that I learned something new.
And we frequently hear from students that that first class is something of a shock.
Yeah.
And no matter what we say, don't be shocked. But you were exactly right, and and you noticed how your language and culture helped you to be a star student, you know, and we learned from you as well, because you have such a varied experience in the world and with Russian, so it was good to have you as a student as well.
Yeah. And it also was a nice experience to change the news of both countries. It's to discuss what's happened in Russia and what's happened in the United States today. So it also was interesting.
What are your plans for the summer, Elena? And I'm talking about your plans for relaxation, for a holiday, and also for your plans to continue working on your English.
Okay. So the plans for the summer holidays that actually I don't will have because I'm working. So, but I'm planning to have a driving lessons finally, go to study.
Aha.
Yeah, because I'm a little bit tired to take marshrutkas all day. And about the English, well, in this period of time, I think that for now, I don't will continue some courses because the next step that I want is just to talk fluent, but I think that the courses, it's not will help with that. I just need to live in some country where you just have to talk the day by day. It's like what happened with me in Israel, when I just come and I learned Hebrew from the zero, that I didn't know nothing. Yes.
I think
so, but I will continue to practice with my foreign friends that I have who talk in English, and just to don't forget that what I already learned.
Well, you have captured the secret, and the secret is that to become very fluent, you either have to live in the country or marry someone who's a native speaker or something like that. That's because there's a limit to what we can do in the classroom and a limit to what we can do even online. See, because we do it for such a short period of time each week.
Yes, and also, yeah, go ahead.
I had a boss once, Pete. It was Michael Katz, and somebody said, Michael Katz said, well, someone once asked me if I was fluent in Russian. Michael Katz was the chairman of the Department of Slavic Languages at the university. And he said, am I fluent in Russian? He said, I'm fluent in Russian 501, I'm fluent in Russian 502, and 211 and 213. And those numbers, those are the numbers of the courses. And what he was saying was that he was fluent in the Russian of the courses that he taught.
Yeah. It's correct, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Because I can say that I learned English all my life from the school.
Right.
So it's it helps to how to say, it helps to learn something new, of course, something in grammar and speech or in writing to share with your mind, but to know fluent language is just to live in the country. Just this will help.
Professor Marston likes to distinguish between knowing the grammar and knowing how to communicate, and they are two different things. One is linguistic competence, and the other is communicative competence. And while we're not dismissing linguistic competence, our emphasis here is on communicative competence. Can you use the language for things that language is intended for? To express yourself to complain about the weather, to paraphrase, to recognize the differences between cultures.
So, would you think that you would recommend this course to another student?
Yes, sure. I think that if someone wants start to talk in English, so they for sure have to try this course because it really will help them, even if their level not so high. But I think when they start to trying and to think in English and to hear the native speakers, how they're talking and their accent and their manner of their speech, so they will learn something. Just need more time, maybe not one semester but more, but they will learn something. And the practice is most important thing, to hear and to talk.
And so what would you tell them to do to get ready for a course like this?
To make a home task. No, really, I also said about this in the blog because I think it's an important thing. Because if you are not ready to the lesson, so you're just kind of off for the 1.5 hours because you don't know the topic about what you should to talk, or maybe you even don't know about this in Russian, so you need to prepare to read something and to know how to express it, to talk about it.
I'll tell you, once again, you put your finger on it. Both of you, Konstantin and Elena, have been very, very diligent about doing your preparation and coming to our meetings prepared. Thank you very much. You make our jobs much easier.
I'm going to have to apologize to the group and head off early today. We're doing some logistics relative to cars and the storms that are coming. So I may end up running my wife up to work so that her car is not out and exposed in the storm.
Well, stay safe.
So
yes,
Konstantin
please.
and Irena, thank you again for a wonderful semester.
Thank you, Professor, for being with us all this time and to help us.
And it was very good to meet you, and we hope to see you again in the fall or in person at some point in the future.
Hope so, too.
Talk to you all soon.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Good night.
And I hope that we will not lose touch with you, whether or not you're able to continue in the fall. I would still like to know what becomes of you and your study of English. And so that would be great to know. And I want to tell you that one way you can keep in touch with what I'm thinking is I have a blog when I write about whatever comes into my head. My blog address is lilyroseblog.wordpress.com. And you would recognize some of the things that I write about because some of them I have talked about in class. And so my cat rolling around in the dirt I wrote about one day. And also my regular email address is janetdrake@gmail.com. So if you want to contact me, you can write a comment on my blog or you can email me.
Oh.
So I would be happy to write recommendations for you if that is useful to you at all. Or if you want someone to say how fluent you are in English, I would be willing to speak on your behalf.
Thank you.
And here are my coordinate.
Uh-huh.
You can write me, and the second is my blog, and you're welcome to contact me in either way.
And Konstantin, are you back? Did I hear you?
Sorry?
Yes. Oh, okay. We had lost you there for a while, and
My computer was hanging sometimes.
Oh, yes. Your connection has been very stable this semester, so I was caught by surprise. We heard from Irena and her comments about this semester's experience.
I have heard her comments.
And I listened to your recording on the blog, Konstantin, and it was very, very well done and very very thoughtful and nicely done.
I haven't heard it yet, and I would like for you to review it for me. When I get to it, I will write comments on the blog, but I haven't done that yet. So, so one of the things that we're interested in knowing is how you plan to continue your study of English going forward. I know that's important to you.
It's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the question is, how will you continue studying English?
Okay. I don't know. I don't know how to say negotiated with my Iowa City partner to continue our meetings for all summer, before August maybe. And if it's so, it would be very well for me. And then I don't know exactly, but I'll try to read a novel in English. I have said you sometimes ago, I would like to read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I'll read in I should read it because I want it very much. Maybe it take me many time, but I'll do it.
Have you've seen the movie, have you, with Jack Nicholson?
Yes, I have seen this. I have saw this movie. Or I have seen.
Yeah, I have seen. You were right the first time.
I have seen this movie, but I don't like it very much because Nicholson. I don't like Nicholson. He is not. He is not like McMurphy.
Okay.
He is small. He is. I don't know. It isn't his role.
Okay.
And I heard that Ken Kesey was not glad when he knew that Nicholson will be McMurphy.
Well, I didn't realize that. When you have that situation, you say that Nicholson was miscast. Miscast.
Uh-huh.
Miscast. It was miscast. That means...
Don't catch. What does mean?
Well, it means it was a poor choice of actor for the role. It was bad, you know, like I can't. Let's see. Would you have? I can't think of a good example here.
See, we had what is her name? There was a movie about Elizabeth Taylor, a biopic, and the woman who was chosen to play her was a terrible actress. And I'm trying to remember her name. Do you remember?
No, I'm blank.
She's the one that's always, she's an addict and she's in and out of rehab and she's a bad girl.
There's a young woman, huh?
Yeah.
I know who you mean.
And her name just escapes me at the moment.
Whatever.
Yeah, so also I think when you read a novel that you like, you get an impression about, you have a picture of it in your mind's eye. For me, it's always difficult to read a novel and then see a movie that has been adapted from that material. It's almost never satisfying to me. So I completely relate to what you're saying. When I saw the movie that you were talking about, I had not yet read the book. And so it did not seem so terrible to me. And I already had that impression of Nicholson as that character when I read the book. But then I thought it was slightly jarring because the character in the book, as you say, really gives a different idea. But when we talked about this Ken Kesey novel before, I wondered if you could get an audio recording of someone reading it. I am sure that you could get it on audible.com. I could get it, but I don't know if you could get it in Russia. Do you know?
Could you repeat this question, please?
Okay. A recording of the novel may be available. I know I can get a recording of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest from audible.com, but I don't know if you can get it in Russia.
Please, Professor Marston, you began to write. Please continue it.
I can buy a recording.
Elena, help me, please.
In English or in Russian?
I prefer in Russian.
Russian? Профессор Мастон сказала то, что тебе, возможно, будет легче послушать аудиозапись книги. И она скинула название сайта американского, где можно эту книгу посмотреть. Но она не уверена, что ты с России сможешь там скачать.
It's nothing because I have this recording. I have this and both recording, both texting. It's okay, thank you.
Okay, excellent. Then you have all the tools you need. You have all the tools you need. It would be a good it would be a very useful exercise, Konstantin, for you to read the book and listen to the recording at the same time.
But it's a little trouble. They speak too fast for me, and I can't manage. I have not enough time to follow text and follow listening.
Okay. Well.
Okay, so
but
I'm
it's
going
nothing.
to
I
make a
think.
suggestion. Let me make a suggestion. Don't try to do the whole thing like that. Choose a scene from the novel that you like. And you've read it in Russian, so you can maybe find the text in English, find the recording, and listen to a short passage again and again while you read along. And then I think that you will be surprised. Say, if you listen to it 5 times, then it will begin, you'll begin to hear it in your head. That's a goal. So I'm going to suggest, I think I often suggest this, in fact, to language students, and I do it myself. The idea is you become so familiar with a short passage that you hear it in American English in your head. It's almost like memorizing it, or like learning a song.
Or learning a prayer.
We were talking about the subway in Boston, and both Professor Lero and I started to sing a song that we knew that was about the subway, and it's a song left from the 60s, and we both know this song that relates to that. I don't know if you were online then or not. So I see that we are almost out of time. And so, Konstantin, I have one other question I want to ask you, and that is, if you had suggestions for any changes you might want to suggest for this course, what changes would you like to see? And Irena, I'm going to ask you that too in just a minute.
I don't know. You are professors. I am student.
But
I believe you in this way.
We're also
I should follow your recommendations.
Well, how about perhaps the choice of material? Is there material that you would like to study that we did not cover? We talked about stereotypes and role models, and we talked about news coverage, news organizations, and today we talked about storms. What would you like to? We also talked about.
I would like to speak about American history and maybe about American literature, but I have a lot of knowledge in this area.
Okay, well that will help us.
Maybe history, yes. It was very pleasure for me when we studied Königsberg Address when we spoke about Lincoln, about Civil War.
Right. Yeah.
And it was very. I can say that very interesting but it was interesting lessons.
Good.
Well, we can certainly do more of that. And we, before, in the classes we've given before either one of you was students, we have done some history and also some literature. So we could look forward to doing that. And so, Irena, are there topics that we didn't cover that you'd like to know about?
Well, I agree with Konstantin about the historical topics, that I also love them, and I love the first one about role models, that we talk about Abraham Lincoln and Gettysburg Address. And as for me, I would like to talk more about the political topics and political news and society situations in United States and Russia, the difference and how it goes today, actually. So more topics like that. And it's about the garden.
Okay, you're not a gardener, I get that. So let me invite you. This summer we will be planning some of the subjects for the fall, and you could help by sending me a note. If there's something that you wish that you'd like to know about, then you could help us by saying, I'd like to know about the history of the struggle of the unions in the 19th century, or if there's something particular, the civil rights movement. Those are just two things off the top of my head. As you know, I'm a very political person.
Yes.
And I think my colleagues think that I talk too much about it. But I could do a whole course on politics and never be sorry.
It's great.
We're at a very interesting time in our political history now. Because we're seeing such a big change. So it doesn't take much to encourage me. And now we really must go.
Okay.
I really hope to hear from both of you going ahead. Don't hesitate to write. And Konstantin, I'm not sure whether you heard, but if it is useful to you to have a recommendation from me about your level of competence in English, I am happy to write you a recommendation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I would be happy to do the same. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good luck to both of you.
Thank
Good luck
you.
to both of you.
Thank you very much. It's very, very sad to miss you for a summer, but I hope that we will meet in autumn.
Well, I hope so too. Stay in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a good summer.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.